yourself is the best. I'm blessed to know that lust is a test. I used to be the victim, now I'm just envisioning. I'm knowing this is.
I'm Suzi Landolfi, and welcome to Be Crazy Well. Well, all right. So, Dee, you have to come over and sit next to me because you know how to do this. Come on over here. And I'm recording this.
I love it.
Miss Dee, I know. But you guys aren't on. Not yet. All right. Where are you? Come on, I need to see you. Oh, I'll have to take it off the, let me take it off the preferences of, hang on. We have to go to preferences and unblur us. We're blurry. We're background effects. Okay, none. Oh, there we go. Look at you. There you go. There she goes. There she is. All right.
Yeah, I could pull the bench here if you want. Sit closer.
Yeah. And oh, we have more. Should we go get the other two chairs?
Oh, we got chairs over here.
Yeah, right there. Grab those two chairs. Perfect. Perfect. So welcome to Be Crazy Well at Craft Boxing. We're at the Craft Boxing gym. This is Dee. Big D, I call it. And so Omar, right? Omar, Derek, okay, Yusuf, and Jessica. So I want you to hear a little bit about, Derek knows a little bit about Dee's story. So Dee, when did you walk in this gym and why?
I walked into craft last year, December. I never tried boxing, so I wanted to, and I just
you just wanted to beat someone up,
right?
Anybody,
yeah, right. Anything, anybody.
So biggest, that's right. You can't beat up your parents. You can't beat up your
right.
Yeah, you just wanted to hit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me
get
too.
all the anger out.
I still
boxing gym it is.
That's right. I mean, if we're all more honest about that, this idea that we can't express our feelings enough, and we're limited to what we can do from childhood on, it makes sense that there would be a place where you could physically get that out, because we want to talk it out.
Yeah.
And I don't think talking it out actually works as well as working it out. So as a child, you start to work things out through your body. That's right. And like you work it out because you cry, you yell, it's okay. You play with things, right? You try to take something from somebody, you go, wait, I want to work that out. Give me that toy, right? So all of that happens through your body. And then we get older and we're told we have to do everything from here up. Like, let's fix everything from here up. And Derek, you were so good when you were talking about how your dad and your family, like about talking things out, and how we learn in our families what we can say and what we can't say. So one side of my family, you didn't talk things out, you yelled things out. Like you literally just, no one could talk to each other. All we could do is yell at each other. The other side of my family, the English side of my family, didn't talk at all. They just lied. Like, no, I'm fine. Pass the English tea, please. And it was all that. And the Italian was like, what's the matter for you? Right? That. So what's so nice about what happens when you come to a gym and you do your mental health in a gym is that you can take the emotional and the mental and put it with the physical. When you go to you're going to, not you, Omar, the other guy who was here just said, I'm going to do BetterHelp. He's going to go and talk to someone online and talk about his feelings and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, start talking to Gift when you're in there punching. Start talking about what's going on in your life when you're in that ring. Because if you talk while you're moving, while you're doing something, you will literally take it from your brain and from your emotions and your thoughts and bring it through your body. Now it's all connected. Does that make sense? So one of the things we're doing here at Craft is we're going to keep playing with the idea and doing things to see whether or not we can help a person do physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, all here, all the time. Because you'll have to go to your doctor's office and you'll talk about the pain in your back, but you won't talk about how you've got your entire family on your back all the time. Someone's always on your back, like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, right? Feeling like I got to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, and you wonder why you have a backache. So if we had more doctors and medical places where you talked about your feelings as well and did that, or more physical places like this where you talked about your feelings, we would get to the source and the issue and the change quicker and better. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start to try things. So one of the classes I want to do in there is while you're punching, you're going to talk about what's going on in your life. And this is a bilateral movement, is it not? It's a bilateral movement, even lifting weights. So think about this, right? Think about this. If I talk to you while you're doing this, you're going to work those thoughts and feelings through your body, and it's going to be better. It's going to literally better, quicker, stronger, better, and deeper. So you come here so you can hit somebody, but you weren't clear about that right at the beginning until you started hitting.
Right. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good.
And what did it do for how you felt about yourself? What happened to you when you came here?
I feel like mentally and physically, I was more calmer. I was more at ease because I would come here treating for an hour or two, get all my anger out, and I will leave feeling much better. So, and happier. So I've been smiling a lot lately. So it's because of that.
So let's talk about getting it out.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to get too physical about elimination, getting shit out, like literally. If you're constipated, it's not fun. Right. If you have diarrhea, that's not fun. That's getting too much out too quickly. So the fact remains is we got to get shit out, right? And we got to get out in a healthy way. It's got to have a balance. Now, what if I told you that most of the shit that you have in you was either done to you or told to you? It happened to you through your family and through your training. So you're just going along trying to learn how to walk, and yet everybody's got something to say about you, mom and dad and grandparents and all that stuff. Am I right, Omar? Is that your family? Is everybody in your stuff, or was everybody giving advice all the time?
Advice at a younger age.
Yes, right. Now you just,
I mean,
what do you do now that you don't hear?
So, I mean, because I left my family when I was 17. Not in a negative way.
Okay.
Just my family's based in Lebanon. So
Yeah.
I just left the entire family came here. And I've been here ever since on my own.
So, on your own, but you left. You're the only one that left?
I'm the only one that left at a young age. My little sister left later, late 20s.
So you're the explorer. You're the scout.
I just the black sheep.
Yeah.
Just wanted out.
So think about the black sheep of the family, black sheep of the family. You different in your family than
my teenagers as a black sheep.
Yeah.
Kind of still am, but
yeah. You brought the Montana house. You're like not like the rest of the family, am I right? Yeah. Black sheep. I don't know about you, Jessica. Black sheep. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are those of us in our families that we have to leave. We have to set a new path. We have to make the new path. Because if we don't, what's going to happen is, this is what we fill out here. So here's your ancestry. If you don't, what's going to happen? Now, who has their here's that's written down? You have yours on your phone. We'll look at yours.
Kept the one I
completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that too. So what's going to happen is once you do this and you fill this out, then you'll see how you were trained. You'll see it in black and white, actually in red and blue. You'll see it. And you'll understand why you had to leave. Like you had to leave, Omar.
I wanted to.
Right, because you had to leave. In order to be who you needed to be and grow and leave, it was fine for them. It wasn't okay for you.
Oh.
Is that right?
Correct.
I said that right. And that's why you had to do the things you did, Yusef, and why all of us have to do. It's why you had to buy the Montana thing and do whatever you did, right? And why I moved 3,000 miles away. Because there are those of us that help the family grow. And we call them the black sheep, but actually we're the scouts. So the scouts in a tribe are the people that are the best that know about the wilderness. They're the ones that know how to navigate the world. And so they leave and they come back to the family, don't come back to stay, but they'll come back and say, you know what? There's more water out there and there's more wildlife. And this is where it should be like this. We need scouts in our family and we disrupt our family. Some of it don't like that we leave. How long did your mother cry when you left?
A while.
A while.
At first, they were against the move. But then since I took initiative at a young age and I got accepted into college, they couldn't say no.
That's right. So at first, they're against it. And you have to push back against your family and do what's right for you. But wait, it gets better. When you fill this out and you actually see what happened to you, you are actually helping the world. That's what we don't understand. Those disruptors are the people, like a guy that says, I can put lightning in a bottle and I'll call it a light bulb. But that guy, a woman who walks onto a bus who's African-American and says, you know what? I'm tired of sitting in the back. I'm going to sit in the front seat now. And those are the disruptors that change everything. The guy that says, I'm going to drop out of college and just build a computer in my garage. The kid that says, I'm going to go do videos of, right? I'm going to go on and do this crazy thing and do that. The girl in the Armenian family that is supposed to be all dressed up, all dressed up in her finery, looking for a husband and learning to cook, is out here boxing. That's what we need. And if you guys don't, like, if you don't, this guy who buys, wait, I'm gonna look, you're gonna see him. He's Derek. All right, there's Derek. Right, and there's Omar. We just show Omar. There you go. So this guy who knows nothing about horses, just recently, why didn't you tell him what you did? What did you do, Derek?
I bought a horse property, but
Where?
up in Montana.
Nice.
Yeah.
He bought a horse property in Montana. He doesn't know anything about horses. He knows one end from the other. That's about it. And so those are the people we need to do. And you'll beat yourself up that there's something wrong with you. You'll call yourself the black sheep as opposed to the scout, as the disruptor, the explorer.
But it does disrupt family dynamics.
It does, but that's their issue, not yours.
100%.
You didn't do it on purpose to disrupt the family, right? You just said, I gotta go now. I gotta go now. You didn't disrupt the family on purpose saying, I'm gonna go box. And they're like, what? You're not supposed to be punching people. You're supposed to be punching dough and making cheese blintzes or whatever you make. Whatever you make, right? Right? And same for me. I did the same thing. And then what happens? We all find each other. So Jessica, I don't know your story.
What?
You're here. You're here. Where is she? She's right there. All right. What's your family doing and where are they?
So my mom, okay, so my mom's Brazilian and my dad's Jamaican.
Okay. Brazilian and Jamaican. Okay.
So first my mom or my dad actually met my mom in Brazil. And then brought her to the US and then started their lives here in the US. So I'm the first generation here. So we have a small family here.
Okay.
All my other family's in Brazil.
So where's your siblings?
I don't have any.
You're an only child.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's tough. So.
It is tough.
Yeah.
We actually talk about that a lot, about being an only child. So I wasn't an only child, but my daughter's an only child and my grandson's an only child. So they taught me what it was like for an only child. I always joke about only children. You get all the good stuff and you get all the bad stuff.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. Like Yusuf and I, we'd be in the house, like they'd be yelling at our brother or sister, and we go, phew. It's right. I'm going, oh, good. They're yelling at my brother, not me. Right. You had someone else. Right. And then when they left, you had someone else to play with. But only children, that's interesting. That's a whole nother dynamic. I would say that you have some really good friends from school. Yeah. I don't have a lot of really good friends. I got friendliest in high school, and I don't have one friend from high school, really. I mean, I guess I have a couple.
My
yeah.
neighbor was my best friend.
But you guys do. My daughter has friends from way back, and my grandson too, from kindergarten. He's only 19. So there's an interesting dynamic about that and what that happens. So I appreciate that you shared that and everything. I'm not putting you on unless you want to be on. You decide. You decide. All right. So what we did last week, last Tuesday, actually, this past Tuesday, what we did was we played a game called The Swamp. And it was about a team. And I want to tell you something that happened. So George said that he wanted to start a community here. And if you look around where we're all sitting here right now, we have a bunch of different looking people, don't we? Like we're all like a pretty eclectic group of people, age, ethnicity, gender. Okay. So we'd like to think we're a team, except that when you think about it, boxing isn't a team sport per se. It's you against one other person. And it's nice to have classes because then you start to build connection. At the same time, it's not like a sport where you're definitely on the same team. Would you agree with that? It's still a more individual. So I got out a bunch of boards and they had to walk across that floor, only stepping on the boards. And if they fell off the boards or stepped off the boards, the whole team had to start over again. And they had to go from one point to another. And they had to do it 5 times before they could become a team. People got on these boards and said, I'm going, I can get across, and looked back and found half their team was just back there going, how are we going to get across? It was unbelievable enlightening. Would you say that?
Right.
Yeah. That they believe they all care about each other and their team until the competition came out, until it was seduced by the end result. And then you wonder whether you're a team player or not. And they finally got it to the end where they had to. Oh, and by the way, 2 of the members here, Omar and Kendra, 2 amazing people. You know Omar and you know Kendra. They kept stealing the boards. They were the alligators in the swamp. So every time they put the boards down and they would step on them, Kendra would come and take one of the boards, or Omar would take one of the boards. So then all hell broke loose because all of a sudden now they're fighting with the alligators. So now when you're fighting with the alligators, and you were one of them, she got so captured by the alligators. She wanted to push them and fight them instead of focusing on what she needed to do. That's what happens to a lot of us. This trauma that we carry around, it can seduce us into looking at that and still trying to fix that instead of looking at where we are now and where we want to go. So as the alligators were stealing their boards, Dee, you were getting upset with them because you don't want people to do that. And yet it took her off her course for a while until she's decided, I'm going to ignore the alligators, the haters. I'm going to ignore the haters and focus on where I'm going.
What do you mean by that?
So
Upset at that?
Say it again.
You said upset at that.
So that is like when you get upset, Derek, about what somebody else is doing, either to you or against you, for you, even for you, somebody who is got the hook in your mouth because of your family past, right? So your sister or brother or somebody that's in your family that's causing a ruckus in the family, and you focus more on that than what you're doing for you. Now, it sounds kind of cold-hearted and it sounds like, self-absorbed. It's really not. You help people more when you focus on what you're doing for you and you stay on your steady path. When your mother was so upset, you could have stayed. She was emotional, right? She was emotional. She was sad and scared. She didn't want it, right? So you could have allowed her feelings to stop you, Omar. That wouldn't have helped her, though.
Does that make me selfish?
No. See, that's what I want to get to. You just said the right word. Does that make me selfish?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like we don't be saying or doing anything because if it makes the person in front of us feel not appreciated, I guess, like it's gonna be like a selfish thing to do.
Right. Selfish. You're hurting them. You're making them sad. You're supposed to make them happy. You're all fired right now for making anybody else happy. You're fired. You're not supposed to make someone else happy. That's their job. That's not your job. And we're not supposed to have children or spouses or family members in order to have them make me happy. If you want something to love you and teach you that you are valuable and be grateful and happy to see you all the time, get a puppy. Get a dog. That dog loves seeing you every day. Am I right, Yusef? Right? Don't get a partner because they're not going to be happy every day to see you.
Me for 11 years.
That's right. There you go.
That's my dog last year. That was me for 11 years.
Yeah, that's right. They love you, right? So here's what we do is we teach people to think that somehow you're responsible to make your parents happy. Let me ask you this. Do you know anything about raccoons? I know a lot about raccoons. I love raccoons. I love their hands, and they're little bastards. They're wonderful. They just don't give a fuck. And I love that about them. They're so wonderful. And I used to have 13 to 15 of them in my yard eating kibble when I lived in Virginia. So I got to know them a lot. And then one of them the next year brought back her babies to come to the house. I mean, they're wonderful. Raccoon mothers don't cry when their children leave. Raccoon mothers. No, they don't cry when the thing. The only animal I think, well, I will say this. They will cry if they die. So elephants will cry and mourn. Cows will cry and mourn. They'll all mourn if the child dies. That is true.
I mean, like actual tears.
I don't know about the tears. I think elephants actually cry tears. We'll have to look that up. Yeah, we're the only ones that really cry. Okay, why am I saying all of that? Because the point is that the parents know what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to teach the child how to take care of itself, how to go off and live its life. It doesn't have a child to keep. It doesn't want to keep the child. It's like, no. In fact, I watched a mother raccoon take the baby and put it on the tree as if to say, climb up that tree. And the baby let go. Watch this whole thing happen. She took it, she put it on the tree again. We let go. Well, that didn't want to climb up the tree, wanted to be carried. She put the baby back on the tree and put her shoulder underneath that thing so it could, and kept pushing it till it went up that tree. So when you think about making someone else happy, you can think you're selfish if you don't. That's not what we're supposed to do.
What happens when your happiness conflicts with someone else's happiness?
Well, let's talk about that. What happens when your happiness conflicts with somebody else's? Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, yeah.
Happens to me every day.
Like you're talking about family, parents and stuff. I mean,
girlfriends, boyfriends.
My wife.
Yeah, that's right.
My best friend.
That's right.
There's always going to be that.
Business partners.
Yeah, whatever.
People you're driving on the 405 with. What you do, make that turn, doesn't make them happy. So happiness is subjective. It means that what makes me happy doesn't make what Jessica's happy. And so now I got to work with her. I love her. She's my love, whatever she is to me. And now we've got to negotiate it out. What if we both decided that you still get to make yourself happy? You still get to do the things you want to do. So when Jessica says, I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to go climb Mount Everest, I don't say, well, you're going to leave me here? You're going to climb Mount Everest? No, that's not my job. I go, how do I help you pack? How do I help you do the things that help you live the life that you deserve to live? Because I'm complete in and of myself. If I hear anybody here say my better half, I'll go, if you're only a half human being, you need to get back into the womb and grow some, because you're a full ass person and you have to develop this person. This is your person to develop. And let's talk about happiness versus joy. So happiness is subjective. What makes you happy, Derek, doesn't make someone else happy. Now you got to negotiate. If you have to negotiate to the point that you don't get to do what you deserve to do for your purpose in your life, that's not love. That's being held hostage. I will definitely compromise with the people I love. Tonight we went to have sushi, my daughter, her fiance, and me. And we said to the fiance, you get to pick tonight. Where do you want to go? Because I want to go to Q Sushi. We said, great, we're in. Now, I may have wanted to go get pasta. I offered that joy, that ability to go and compromise. Do you know why I did that? Because I can go buy my own pasta any other night that I want. I don't need that person to give me everything that makes me happy. I don't.
But what if it makes you feel a certain way?
Well, let's talk about feelings. How were you trained? Were you trained all your life to make your parents happy by getting good grades and picking up
I mean,
your
that
room.
never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Right.
No, I mean, not to say, I guess.
You're upsetting your mother. Did you ever
No,
hear
no,
that?
I mean, I put my parents through a lot with being, kids, but
Well-
I have a very good relationship with my parents. They really let me do my
Yeah.
thing, and
You put your
I consider
parents
myself
through a lot.
lucky for the family
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
That's not how I see it.
Yeah. And you are lucky, and no parent is perfect. Therefore, when you say I put my parents through a lot, you were just being what you're supposed to be. They could have just gone, well, that's just being a parent, that's being a kid, and never get upset about it. Right? They can. Do you have kids yet?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, your daughter.
Yeah, all right. So you have a daughter.
Yeah.
So she's just going to do what she does. Yusuf, you know what it's like to have parents that get upset with everything and anything that you're doing or not doing. That's from their trauma. That's from what happened to them. And they're so anxious and so depressed and so traumatized, they then need you to help calm them, help emotionally regulate them. You talked about emotions. That's actually every adult's responsibility. It's not my responsibility.
So, do you believe in those times of conflicting happiness,
yeah,
it's helpful to understand someone else's
absolutely
trauma? So that
oh my God. Go get one of these. You need an extra one for her?
so that you can
absolutely
understand their past and help them negotiate.
And it will make you more empathetic. When I first met you, I told you about what you're born in the United States. You were born in Lebanon.
No,
You were born here.
Raised
Okay. Raised there. Okay. The point is your family. So Jessica, your family. So Brazil, right? You need to know about Brazil at the time that your father was born or your mother. And then you need to know about Jamaica and what was going on when she was born. When you know your parents and your grandparents past, you will have empathy for them. When you know more about your wife's childhood, you will understand more about why she does what she does, why she's so afraid of this, why she's so strong about that. You will know better. Therefore, when you know, you won't take it personally, you won't argue with it, and you'll be a little more empathetic. You'll also be able to hold the boundaries better. When I know what my partner went through, and when he says, I don't want you to do that, that upsets me, or blah, 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 I go, I know why it does. I know that upsets you because of what happened to you when you were a kid. And I'm not that. That's not this. And they can go, yeah, it scares me. And I go, get it. I know it scares you. And I still have to go do this.
Do you think walking away, not walking away, but sometimes ignoring that emotion from past trauma is a negative thing to do?
Well, I think if you ignore something, let me ask you this. Would you ever ignore a splinter?
Oh, yeah, I have it.
Yeah, you have. Okay. And some of them worked its way out, and some of them you had to go digging. Yeah. And so it depends. If you don't usually ignore a toothache. Right.
Sorry.
A toothache, you don't usually ignore a toothache.
Oh, toothache.
Toothache,
No.
because because if you ignore a toothache, chances are it's going to get worse. So here's what I would say. Some transgressions, some traumas, you can take a look at and go, okay, I get it. That happened. Can't do anything about it. I'm just going to understand it, right? And it doesn't actually affect me as much as it does my wife or my father or my sister. There's others that you have to not ignore. What you ignore, like I said, a toothache can get worse and worse and worse. Not only that, you pass it down to your children. You can pass it down to your children. There is trauma that can get passed down through generations. And we know that. So
Now, what I mean by, sorry.
yeah, no, we love this. Go, Omar. Go.
Oh man, that makes me self-conscious. All right. So what I mean by ignore is if you notice a pattern, for example, your spouse is getting overwhelmed about a situation in her personal life, which is maybe for me it's ridiculous, but for her it's a big situation.
That's right.
So I see a pattern. She gets overwhelmed about a situation, and I don't want it to affect me. So I kind of just let it go because I know in 2 hours it's like it never happened. So I would just kind of have that little dome around me.
Yeah.
Because it does affect me.
It can.
It can. Because
It can until you decide to say, you go and give her a hug. You know that it's what's going on. You can't change it, nor can you fix it. She's got to work it through.
From past trauma.
That's from past trauma. It has nothing to do with you. And you can just witness. You can empathize. And you don't absorb it. You don't allow it to hurt you. So when you come from a family where everybody's hurt affects everybody else, you're at risk. Look at the smile.
Not me.
Yeah, I laughed.
No, not me, but I could see it was
yes.
My partner.
Yes. And I would say that it probably does, it does affect you on some level, right? You don't want to see your spouse upset. And it may be, I love what you just said about, doesn't bother me, it may be ridiculous to me, right? And right? So if you ignore it, if you ignore someone who's hurt, they may come after you looking for more support. So you've actually increased the hurt because you ignored it. Right?
That's why I don't really like the word ignore in the situation, because maybe you have the experience to know that they need to do it by themselves. So the word isn't ignore. I think it's like willful or intentional, giving them the space and time that they need to solve it themselves.
Tell them how you do that. How would you do that so that they would know the difference from not being ignored and you don't care, right? To giving them the space. Derek, what are some of the things you can say or do that would let them know you're going to be there and they have to work it out?
That would need a scenario.
You what?
Need some context.
Okay, so we'll use Omar's, or I'll use one of mine. So my grandson's all upset about something. And he comes to me and he goes, can you believe that this person did that? And blah, 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 blah. And then I don't go, what are you so upset about? That's the first thing I don't say. I'd say, that sucks. Doesn't suck to me. Sucks to him. So the first thing I say is, that sucks.
You empathize.
I empathize first. I join up. I connect with him. That sucks. How many times have I said that to you? That sucks. That's terrible.
You don't feel like you're affirming?
Well, wait. So you're right. If I could say that suck and then I commiserate with him into the depths of despair, I'm not going to do that. First, I'm going to say that sucks. And they go, yeah. And then, so now we're connected, right?
You say that sucks in a way that they kind of understand.
I think more.
Yeah, you know, it's sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You know what has worked? When like, especially with my youngest kids, I love that for you, and she'll be like, oh my god, yeah, and she'll just keep going. I'm like, oh, and she just keeps talking, and then she'll calm herself down. That's why sometimes when I say I love that for you, sometimes it's sarcastic, sometimes I actually do mean it. Like, I actually do love that for you, like, even if it's like something they're happy about, you know, like, it don't affect me, it's not my happiness, like, I love that for you, you're happy. But then they tell me something negative, I'm like, okay, I love that for you, like, in a way, like, okay, tell me more, because I know it's going to calm you down.
Yes.
And they're going to understand it more, right? Like,
yeah, you can do that. So again, it's all in context. But I definitely want people to know I heard them, and I can see that they're upset. So saying it sucks, because I can see that it sucks for you, and I'll go, yeah, it really sucks. And I go, okay.
It's how you deliver it.
It's how you deliver it. So then I might say, what do you want to do? What do you need? So now I'm engaged. I'm willing to work, and, you know, what do you need? Now, this is an opportunity for them to say, well, I need you to go call them and tell them. What my grandson does sometime. And I go, oh, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I should have qualified what I can do here. What I can do is I can be with you when you make that call. I can stand right here with you while you do that. I said, but taking away your opportunity, my job is to help you know how to take care of yourself. And if I do it for you, then I'm not helping you. And I love you too much to not help you. So helping you is, I will be right here when you have to make that difficult call. I'll be right here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because my motto is, I mean, it's not, I don't say this literally, but I'm not here to handhold you through life.
That's right. Because then I'm not helping you. How am I helping you if you don't know how to take care of yourself? So empathize.
But also my way of solving problems isn't the same way.
Well, there's another good thing to say. Say, well, what would you do? My way might not work for you. I'll tell you my way, and it might not work for you. because I'm a 73-year-old woman and you're an 18-year-old, 19-year-old boy. So let's just be clear here. This may not work the same way. And I think it's this idea that we honor people's struggle to strength. We honor people's struggles so that they get the benefit. They should get the benefit of doing it. I love when you said that it doesn't upset you, but it upsets her. So here's why. Do you ever have like someone who says to you, "Did you just believe what that guy just did?" And blah, 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 like this. And you look at that person like they have two heads and you go, "Why are you so upset?" And they look right back at you and go, "Why aren't you upset?" Well, we just talked about it. It's because it didn't happen to me. I didn't come from that kind of family. I didn't have that situation in my family. I have other shit that upsets me. So I never say that. I never, like, "Why are you so upset?" I never ask that unless I go, "Tell me why you're so upset.
Tell me why
you're so upset. I want to know. I really want to understand." That's very different than go, "Why the hell are you so upset?"
I learned that along the way.
Yeah, you got to want to know why someone's upset. And then the greatest joy you give to somebody and strength is you don't fix it for them. You don't fix it for them. How do they get the gift if you fix it for them? I was saying to my grandson when he was little, "Will you do this for me, Gina?" And I go, "You try 5 times. If you can't get it in 5 times, I'm doing it. I got you." Why did I choose 5? Because he always got it on the 3rd try.
My dad used to always say, "Figure it out."
Yeah, well, figure it out is one way. That's a little more, that's distant for me. Yeah, that's a little like I'm not helping
first.
Yeah, then you figure it out. And I love this one too. Here's another good one. Someone says, "Will you do this for me? Because I'm so scared and I don't want to do it." And I go, "You're so good at it." I love when they say that. Blow smoke right up my ass. "You're so good at it. Will you do this for me?" And I go, "I am good at it, aren't I?" And they'll go, "Yeah." Now they're all excited. "Yeah, you are. You're so good at it." And I go, "Yeah. Well, then I don't need practice. You do, because I'm already good at it."
Oh my God, you just same thing with my sister.
Right.
Oh my God, crazy.
So I want you to be curious about yourself and your trauma. I want you to be curious about other people's trauma and know that you don't have to fix any of it. First of all, you can't stop or you can't take away what happened to you. All you can do is build on it or heal it as much as possible, right? But you'll never get rid of all of it. I won't get rid of all the anxiety that happens every time I do something that reminds me of when I was attacked. Let's put it that way, right? I can't get rid of all that. So I'm walking in New York City during the day. I go through this park. I'm sitting on these benches. I'm watching people with their dogs and their kids, and it's beautiful and it smells like fall. And I'm so happy because I miss the East Coast. Cut to that next day in the evening, I have to walk back to my hotel and I see the park, but now it's 7:00 at night. And I want to walk through the park and I go, as much as I can kick ass, probably not a smart thing for me as a single person with obvious gray hair walking through a park at night. Just probably not a good idea, right? I want to, and I'm not going to do that because I want to get home and I don't want to put myself in that situation. Think if you could do that when you're hanging out with people and you're about to say something or do something and you go, is it worth it? Is it worth bringing that up right now tonight when we're both tired? And right, maybe I'll wait and do that another time. That's the compromise of doing something with someone and knowing what they're capable of at the time, and knowing what you're capable of. I could never do that. If I was upset about something, it had to be talked about right now. I cause more fucking collateral damage to myself and my relationship.
I mentally prepare myself for situations like that. I don't know, like, even if it's like something, whether it's negative or positive, right? Like, if I have to tell someone something, whether it's family or friends, like, I mentally prepare myself for it because I know how they're going to react no matter what the timing is. And I just say it, and they could automatically tell from my face and they ask what's wrong. So I'm like, since you asked, this is what's going on.
Yeah, since you saw my face,
right,
like which was so obvious,
right?
You have to ask, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I feel like so far we've only spoken about maybe people that want to fix themselves, but there's a whole other ball game. I mean, you can't fix someone that doesn't want to fix themselves.
That's
so
right.
You can't help someone that doesn't.
That's right. And
it's not even your job to help someone that does want to help themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There are some people that they can't. So I always say there's willing and able. Are you willing and are you able? Right? I know some people that are willing to heal and they truly are not able at this time in their life. That I want to change. And the anxiety, the depression, whatever is so great that they're not able at this time. I know some people who are able, these are the ones that get me going. The ones that are able and are unwilling. So there's two kinds of people in the world. And right now we have one, two, three, four, five people right now, 6 people and a dog. We have 6 of the same kind of people here. We all look very different, everything, but we've got one thing in common, or we wouldn't be here. There's 2 kinds of people who want to know. They want to know. They want to change. They want to know. They want to figure shit out, even when they're struggling, even when they don't want to, they still want to. They're willing to get new information. They're willing to try something new. We're disruptors. They'll start a whole new way of being into the world. People like that. And then there's a whole bunch of people, too many right now, I'm afraid, that don't want to know. They already think they know. They think that everything that you would love them to change, or that people are telling that they need to change it about themselves, they're wrong. And they can't change. They're not willing. At worst, they don't think they have to change. It's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you. It's all you.
Well, it's the opposite. Like, this is my first experience. But maybe for me, it's like, I'll figure it out. I'll handle it. Kind of situation.
Well, you're sitting here now, though. Why did you sit in that seat tonight?
Or to figure it out. Yeah. And I met you and I liked your energy. So
right. So you want to know. I want to know more about that crazy old lady. I want to know that energy. Where the fuck does that energy come from?
Maybe I'm delusional.
I'll let you know if you're delusional. You're not delusional. I can see that. But the point being, you really do want to know. You left at 17. You said, I got to go to America. I got to go back to where I was born and do this thing. Yeah.
It's definitely.
None of us would be here if we didn't want to know. None of us.
I think everyone goes through trauma.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody goes through trauma. And there's big T and little t. And sometimes the little t trauma is worse than the big T. It can cause greater depression.
What is the delineation?
So here's the definition. So big T would be the obvious sexual molestation, assault, being beaten up, screamed at, poverty, racism, those kinds of things you have to deal with all the time in a very chaotic and dangerous world. That would say for children, would say that. And little t is what I call the yeah, but parenting. Oh, Omar, I love your hat. That's such a great hat. But honey, why'd you get it in brown? Brown is, you know exactly what I just did. You know exactly what I just did. It's nice, but then it's not. The minute you say but, you take away the first part of the sentence. And don't say but unless you're talking about someone's ass. You want to talk about you get a nice butt? That's okay. I'm good with that. But I'm not okay with saying something and then but, right? It's an and. I love that hat. And I liked the red one on you too. 2 things can coexist. So that would be my answer to that is, and I want to say something too. If you plan to have friends for a long time, like I plan on being his grandmother for a long time, right? As long as I live. I'm not going anywhere. No matter what he does, I'm not going anywhere, right? So what if you made that commitment, and even when somebody does something that's irritating, You go, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be here anyway. Do you see what I mean? It's only when you got one foot out the door that you argue a lot and fight a lot. It's only when you're still wondering whether you picked the right person or you want to be that friend or somebody else might be better out there that you'll argue. The minute you're in and you, right now, I want to say this, no one gets to scream at you. No one gets to call your name. No one gets to hit you. No one gets to lie to you. No one gets to put you in danger on purpose. Those are things that are bottom lines for me. So no one's in my life like that, because the minute I see it, I'm out of there. So it takes a while before you know whether people are safe. I always say Hannibal Lecter can be nice to you for the first 6 months till he invites you to dinner and you're dinner. So, right, everybody can be wonderful for 6 months. And finally, that facade will come down and you'll see the red flags and you'll see the real person, and then you make a decision. By then, unfortunately, you've slept with them. So it's harder.
I love that you said that, because my wife and I always have this conversation, just generally, but it's like, oh, I met this guy or girl, she's cool, he's cool. Like, everyone was cool at first.
At first,
everyone was cool.
That's right. 6 months, roughly, is what everybody can keep in check until. I was just talking to a mutual friend of Yusuf's and mine, and he was complaining about this young woman he's dating right now. And I was like thinking back of when he started to date her, and I realized it had just passed 6 months. And I said to him, I said, how long you been seeing her now? I said, about 8 months, 7 months. He goes, yeah, we're in our 7th month. And I went, here it comes. Here it comes. Now you get to make the choice. Now you see, right? This is it now. I love when Michelle Obama said that she didn't like her husband for 10 years. Because when the kids were little, I didn't like him.
What's interesting is we were talking about like starting boxing. I told them like the first 6 months was this huge learning curve.
Yeah.
After 6 months. So at the same time, there's like these massive issues that come forth maybe in relationships after 6 months.
Yes.
Part of that is the improvement process as well.
I love what you're saying right now.
So with boxing, for me, it took 6 months.
Yeah.
With that massive learning curve. And then, I mean, you're always learning, but there was that huge plateau in the beginning.
And I think we beat ourselves up about learning because, I don't know about you, think of something that you did really quickly and really easily. So think of something you tried. For me, it would be dancing. So I'm a little girl, and the minute someone shows me how to do this, I'm like, oh, I got this, right? So now I've got a problem, because if a lot of things come easy to me, I don't know how to wait out those 6 months. So it's a really important thing to do things that are hard, difficult. They're not easy for you. They don't come easy to you. Most people stop being a beginner. The Buddhists call it a beginner mind. To always try something new that you can't do easily, so that you can be kind to yourself. You'll give yourself some grace, and you'll give yourself some time. And it's okay not to like somebody who you love. It's okay.
I don't feel that way.
I know. He's on camera right now. No, he loves you, honest. Omar's wife, if you watch this.
I know.
We got to go, everybody. Be crazy well.